The title of this presentation is called Writing Grants and Grant Business Proposals by Tyree. What is a grant or a business proposal? Grant writing is the practice of completing an application process for a financial grant provided by an institution such as a government department, corporation, a foundation, or a trust. Such application processes are often referred to as either grant proposals or grant submissions. Since the point of a grant award is to impact rather than money, the real point of the grant proposal is to rally the necessary resources to help fulfill its purpose. A grant is a tool organizations use to address important issues within their communities. Grant writing varies widely across its disciplines. Writing successful grant applications is a long process. The main objective is to capture the reviewer's thoughts and to make them interested about what the outcome of the research is and wanting to give funding towards your proposal. Your pursuit is your research question, and a good question is a new and important cause for your grant that you're inquiring about. Therefore, you should articulate it clearly and give some context for what's making your proposal important. The reviewer must be clear on its fundamental reasons and questions you are addressing. The steps to identifying what your grant is about is to identify the problem that needs funding, and this involves identifying a need. Second, you should understand the grant application process. You first need to have an in-depth look at the application. 3, you need to find people who are interested in providing funding for your proposal. Then you need to develop a budget on what you need funding for. Then you should have a summary statement prepared with a letter of inquiry that is given to the people you want funding from. And then from there, submit your request with all the necessary forms and paperwork and wait for the reviewing process and continue from there. Technology mistakes and grant proposals. Problems and presentations. We've all had days and times when the equipment that we've rehearsed failed. It seems to be inevitable. When it comes to presentations, at some point you're going to have a technical problem. If the presenter doesn't have the correct software, connections, or tools, the presenter can't connect to the projector or other technologies, there's a problem with the presentation. It's always buffering or something stops working and so forth. Another problem that occurs with writing grant proposals is formatting errors. The elements of a grant proposal have specific requirements depending on the funding source, and most grant proposals require the following elements: a title page and a cover letter, an introduction, abstract, summary, which is a brief overview of the proposal with information about the institution, its ability to complete the project, needs, methods that need to be used, and how those will benefit. This is the first thing the reader sees, but it is written last. Also, it needs an institutional background, which describes the institution's terms of its location, demographic, the mission, the relationship to the service area, and the successes in the project that you want to establish. Also, it needs to have a problem with statement and needs which is a document that is linking it to funding sources, goals, and priorities. What is the situation that is causing the concern? Why is it happening? Also, it should have program goals and objectives, which are the outcomes, methods in implementing the plan, an evaluation plan, and the future funding and the budget. So if your grant does not include these things, there are formatting errors that could cause an issue. Lastly, we have misusing technology. If an application is not a study on technology or a method of technology, it should not be technology driven, meaning you should not use technology if its purpose is not about technology. So you should fully understand what your methods are that you're using. You should not use technology if you really don't need it. And you shouldn't just use extra technology just because you think it's fancy or it'll make it better, because sometimes using too much technology makes grant viewers not want to accept or be part of your funding.